man came up out of the woodwork tomorrow and said he did it, who would believe him? In light of what's been happening lately with this,
based on the conspiracies and
everything,
stories,
right?
All of the misinformation and things
it's
like
been
that.
ridiculous.
Okay.
They just keep throwing mud on the walls and something sticks.
Right.
That's what they do. That's what the government does. They gray it. They just keep, never black and white. We just keep throwing shit up there and make it gray.
I know the daddy is over there pushing that government bullshit again.
I and ATF about a year afterwards, while I was working with Death Row Records in regards to racketeering within Death Row Records, and also at that time, the mayor of Compton, Omar Bradley, some other things that occurred within the city. I didn't know that the FBI at that time was following Reggie, Suge, the homeboys, and that's how things started out with the FBI.
Reggie provided a lot of information. He was in a very high-level position of Death Row Records. He was very aware of what we were doing in terms of investigations, numerous investigations on Death Row Records and Suge Knight. We executed search warrants. He helped provide information. Reggie had a game plan, and he made it very, very clear that he wanted to take over Death Row Records. Make no mistake about that.
With Tupac, the public is naive to a lot of stuff. There was a plan already to do something to him. You go back and watch the film, they was already stalking Pac, like watching him. So that just took the iceberg when something happened. And that's why, like I said, I had two of the toughest guys for him, and Reggie pulled them off on me. It didn't have to happen. I told him to send 5 guys from the club to there, and they never said nobody.
Yeah.
And Frank blocked us in, purposely. Later he told us at the streets. They told him to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, Frank got so bad he died, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And Michael Moore.
Suge Knight and Tupac had a vicious fight in New York at the MTV Awards. And Tupac told one of the bodyguards, after he was finished with a video shoot, they were walking him to the airplane, he told this bodyguard, who's a real good friend of mine to this day, he said, "I'm a dead man walking." And he said, "Pac, why would you say something like that?" He said, "Because I don't want to go to Vegas, and I got a bad feeling about it." And that was September 6th. It was a Friday, because they had just finished shooting Toss It Up. Absolutely. Somebody set him up. Now, the conclusion, recently, within the last week or two, the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the FBI released a 349-page document saying that in their findings that Suge Knight and Reggie Wright orchestrated and put a hit on both of them.
How you gonna miss a 350 fat fuck like him? Excuse me for curse. If you were shooting into a car, so it was a assigned hit and assigned assassination.
Mm-hmm.
We knew who the target was. We knew how it went down. Same way with Biggie. They both were the same way, and the same people probably were involved.
And the other thing is for Biggie, son, I was in jail, like I'm in jail now. I'm quite sure the authorities know what happened. They saw the first one, they saw the second one, because it's the same people, same circle of people.
Through interviews of former police officers that worked in the Death Row organization, Mac and Gaines were identified as confidants of Suge Knight, the owner of Death Row Records. They were present during private Death Row parties, and that's where first time that we were able to really make the connection between those two.
And when detectives had searched Mac's home, in the garage, they found a black Chevy Impala SS and something else.
He also had a shrine of Tupac Shakur, posters and memorabilia of Tupac Shakur all through the garage.
A dark Chevy and Tupac Shakur were, it turns out, part of another mystery.
Biggie had been murdered, and it was noted that the shots came from a black Chevy Impala SS. The car in Mac's home was eerily similar.
Perez and them was all involved. They were trying to kill me too, but see, because Perez and Reg and was good friends, and Perez and Sharita and Reg is great friends, and so all those three together was trying to plot, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
About it, Orlando wasn't even the shooter, you know?
Believed Reggie Wright Jr. was involved in the killing of Orlando Anderson. He said Reggie Wright Jr.'s champagne-colored Chevy Blazer was a perfect match, fitting the description of the suspect vehicle described by more than one witness who made statements concerning the killing of Orlando Anderson. He also confirmed the presence of Kevin Gaines, David Mack, and Rafael Perez.
Perez and them was all involved. They were trying to kill me too.
As special guests regulars of Suge Knight's private parties thrown for his inner circle. Both Reggie Wright Jr. and Suge Knight were and are very familiar with these men.
Perez and them was all involved. They were trying to kill me too, but see, because Perez and Reggie was good friends.
Okay, so we got a witness saying David Mack was there, and now we got a witness saying Harry Billups was there. That's definitely him, though. Amir Muhammad, a.k.a. Amir Muhammad. I think it's a breakthrough in the case. This is another example of how incomplete the investigation is and how they have tried everything or done everything to avoid the truth in the matter.
The other thing is for Biggie saying, I was in jail, like I'm in jail now. I'm quite sure the authorities know what happened. They saw the first one, they would saw the second one, because it's the same people, same circle of people.
I honestly believe that the players that we're talking about, David Mack and Amir Muhammad, are somehow involved in this case. And the department, time and time again, has avoided the truth. And when you add everything up, what other reason could there be? The reason being is because they do not want to expose to the public that Los Angeles police officers were involved in the conspiracy to kill Biggie Smalls.
Phil Carson's partner was Reggie's handler at the FBI.
As long as the name Orlando Anderson was in the news and the media, this is real convenient for Reggie Wright because no one's asking him about his culpability.
This was the first that I hear that, and if you, I remember LJ, and if you said you was his partner, then I met with you.
Okay.
Because he did have somebody with him.
Okay, we should okay, I think we'll move on then.
So now you have Reggie Wright Jr. secretly snitching out Death Row Records, while publicly he's throwing Kevin Hackey under the bus for his work with the ATF.
To go further, you know, Phil has told me repeatedly they had an upwards of 5 FBI informants within Death Row. Mob James being one.
What happened?
About what?
Shooting a Biggie.
I don't know anything about that.
You have nothing to give the feds.
I have nothing to give them.
Even if it meant shaving some time off.
Number one, I ain't that dude. I'm just not. But number two, I can't help him.
COINTELPRO, first it came with the state police and the FBI observing us and feeding information, and the local police with their little infiltrators to try to see what we were doing.
My recruitment by the FBI was very efficient, very simple, really. I'd stolen a car and went joyriding over the state limit, and they had a potential case against me, and I was looking for an opportunity to work it off. And a couple of months later, that opportunity came when FBI agent Roy Mitchell asked me to go down to the local office of the Black Panther Party and try to gain membership.
The FBI wanted to destroy the Panthers.
The man came up out of the woodwork tomorrow and said he did it. Who would believe him? In light of what's been happening lately with this,
based on the conspiracies and
every
stories,
right,
all of the misinformation
right,
and things
it's
like
been
that.
ridiculous.
Okay,
they just keep throwing mud on the wall so something sticks.
Right,
that's what they do. That's what the government does. They gray it. They just keep never black and white. We just keep throwing shit up there and make it gray.
I know the daddy is over there pushing that government bullshit again.
Phil Carson's partner was Reggie's handler at the FBI.
Death row in the government, but what you expect from a I'll just say Panther. They hate the government.
The FBI wanted to destroy the Panthers.
They sent the police after me first to kill me. 2-3 weeks after that,
each other because we killing ourselves. We not when another man. I know I've been in a position. It's out of our control. It's not like he wants to kill. He just doesn't want to die. You know what I'm saying? It's that situation when you got we are living in a war zone. It's not as easy as these people are making us think that they just got some criminal ass black kids with guns. We fighting the same villains that they fight in the street. But instead of them seeing us fighting villains in the street, we all villains.
Is your generation the one that is picking up for where the Panthers left off, saying, all right, enough is enough? The generation before us forgot about the fight. We're picking it back up.
Not only forgot about the fight, forgot about us. Yes. And we're picking it back up. Yes. And we're picking it back up.
The FBI wanted to destroy the Panthers.
Tupac was murdered without question. Tupac. The FBI was had Tupac and Big, for that matter, under surveillance for at least a week prior to the murder. So that means even the murder was caught on tape by the FBI. Now, mind you, Pac was a serious threat. His mother was Afeni Shakur, former leader of the New York City Panthers. This is the same black woman who walked into a New York City federal courthouse pregnant with Tupac and defended herself and 20 other Panthers from that famous Panther 21 trial when they were charged with plotting to blow up federal buildings, which was nothing but a COINTELPRO setup. Pregnant with Pac, no legal experience. This black woman defends herself and all 21 of them walk out of prison.
The story that I think a lot of people don't know that I would talk about Pac, a lot of people might not know in this region. Maybe those in America from back in the day know a side of them that many don't know, outside of the music, outside of, entertainment and stuff like that. Pac was about to get into politics.
To me, it's like everybody's scared of the government, you know what I'm saying? Because they killed Tupac and they killed Biggie Smalls.
24, Tupac Shakur was a platinum-selling artist, the movie star, and an inmate at the Dannemora jail in upstate New York.
By the time that Tupac Shakur had gone to prison, he had already shot 2 cops in the city of Atlanta. The charges were dropped against him, but he'd still shot cops. So he was no favorite with law enforcement.
If they really, truly want to solve the Pac murder, they would have done it years ago. Unfortunately, the government, I don't even think they really care about solving the death of Pac, the murder of Pac. So the government, from the time that I met Pac until the time that he died, he was always in odds with the law enforcement. He was always in odds. He shot 2 off-duty police. Police is like a gang in America. Police, we know that, police is like a gang. Not only that, in Los Angeles, they really doing some investigation where they find out that there's cliques within the LAPD. They really got gangs, it's crazy. So Pac shot 2 off-duty police. The police is like a gang, national, in the whole USA. So if you upset, you do something against they so-called brothers in blue, and whether it's in Atlanta, you on the radar of all the police across America. They didn't really like Pac because of that.
Who killed Tupac and Biggie? I think both of these dudes were assassinated in some kind of way. More Biggie than Tupac. I think Tupac might got killed by a dude that they had an incident with earlier that day. But Biggie's seems a little JFK. Governmental to me.
Remember, the way the government operates, they would rather infiltrate a pre-existing structure than bring their own in. Because remember, in case the case gets hot, they have to have a fall guy. They don't want the fall guy to be somebody with an FBI badge or a police badge. So you always use boys in the hood, so to speak, to carry this thing out. So if something goes wrong, you can always dump it on them. And if they start running their mouth, you can take them out.
They had an upwards of 5 FBI informants within death row. Mob James being one.
Pac was a powerful nigga too. Pac knew about all that shit. Why you think they murdered that nigga? It wasn't no rap war. It wasn't because he jumped that nigga Orlando. No. That's a motherfucking lie. Government killed Pac. The feds had something to do with it. They set that nigga up. And they had something to do with Biggie getting killed too. And then they tried to make it look like a rap war. Yo, if Pac was still alive, we would be on the same team. Why you think I said that in my rhyme on the Return of the Mac? If Pac was still alive, we'd be on the same team.
They hate the government. They hate the United States government. They need to move their ass back to Africa, in my opinion. But that's another story. Or Cuba or somewhere.
Done my best to try to help Reggie cover for himself, tell him when to keep his mouth shut, and Reggie just goes on and on and on.
When activists broke into the FBI office, they uncovered thousands of documents that showed a program they had that was targeting leftist activists, and particularly black leftist activists, targeting them for frame-ups and murders. And so they would have particular interest in Tupac Shakur.
Tupac was a very powerful person at that time. He had a lot of people's ears. Tupac was this huge, influential person, and he was saying some things that a lot of people did not like.
Tupac had been head of the New African Panthers, and he was doing activist work behind the scenes while he was a top rapper. Close to that time, Tupac decided to develop a plan to appeal to gangs and politicize them. And he did that to get the Bloods and Crips to call peace truces between each other. That gang peace truce movement started to spread throughout California and throughout the country because he was gaining more success with this peace truce movement. The U.S. intelligence orchestrated Tupac Shakur's assassination.
Kevin Hackey was, in fact, working undercover as an informant for the ATF and the FBI.
That week before Tupac was to go to Las Vegas, the night he was killed, he told Tupac not to go to Las Vegas.
That's it for part 2 of this series. I thought it was going to be a quick 2-part series, but there is just so much more to cover. We definitely have to do a part 3, so be on the lookout for it. It really seems like a lot of Pac's lyrics manifested into reality. Me Against the World wasn't just an album title. It was his actual reality. He had drama coming at him from every single angle. The record label was playing games. The government was watching his every move, and the pressure was non-stop. Hearing that Kevin Hackey literally told Pac not to go to Vegas just adds a whole new layer to the story. It honestly makes me wonder if this wild theory I heard recently might actually have some truth to it. But we're going to save all of that and cover it in the near future. When you really sit back and dissect the timeline, it's eerie how accurate his pen was. Pac was predicting his own trials, his own betrayals, and his own demise in almost every track he laid down during that era. It wasn't just showmanship. It was a man screaming his reality to the world while the world treated it like entertainment. The record labels were playing massive political games behind the scenes. Money was moving in the dark. Masters were being withheld, and contracts were designed to keep him in a state of dependence. He was generating millions of dollars, yet he had to ask for permission and advances just to take care of his family. And it wasn't just the music industry. We know for a fact that federal agencies had massive files on him. They were monitoring his movements, tapping phones, and keeping tabs on his inner circle. When you have the industry squeezing you on one side and the government watching you from the other, it literally is you against the world. That brings us directly to the Kevin Hackey situation. When an FBI informant and former bodyguard explicitly warned you to stay away from Las Vegas, that isn't just casual advice. Hackey saw the security vulnerabilities, he saw the chaos brewing within death row, and he knew that stepping into that city at that specific moment was like walking straight into a trap. But the real mind blower and the part we are going to expose, heavy in part 3, is how deeply embedded the feds actually were inside death row itself. Think about Reggie Wright Jr., the head of security. The guy running the entire protection detail for Pac and Knight was a former Compton cop. There are heavy allegations and street theories pointing to Reggie playing both sides of the fence as an informant for the FBI, while he was supposedly managing Pac's safety and shielding the label from the law. He was allegedly moving in the shadows, passing information, and keeping the feds completely plugged into every move death row made. When you look at how sneaky Reggie was operating behind the scenes, the security breakdown in Vegas starts to look less like an accident and more like a calculated script. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Do you believe Pac was set up by the very people who claimed to protect him? Drop your thoughts and your theories in the comments below. I want to see what y'all think about this Kevin Hackey and Reggie Wright situation. Make sure to hit that like button to help the channel defeat the algorithm.
Subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single second when part 3 drops. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Stay tuned.